Granted that there are a lot of new problems, but the old ones aren't going anywhere either. A basic yet often taken for granted issue is one of the classification of sex. It is a question that makes us all uncomfortable, but it is a fundamental division in society.
I do think there is a bias in the census towards a very simple binary male-female gender hierarchy. The people we call Hijra in India and Pakistan, there's a vast majority there and they're completely invisibilized. If you invisibilize them, you don't address their problems.
Of course, the problem of invisibilization is nothing new to other segments of Pakistani society either. Take for instance the religious minorities of Pakistan. According to the 1981 census, there were 1.3 million Christians in Pakistan, followed by 1.2 million Hindus. Ahmadis accounted for a little over 100,000, 7,000 Parsis, 2,600 Buddhists, 2,100 Sikhs, and a little over 100,000 simply labeled as the others. The 1998 census showed figures for religious minorities reaching the 11 to 13 million mark, with Ahmadis, Christians and Hindus claiming figures of over 4 million each. However, members of religious minorities have claimed for years that the number is even higher than this. The religious minorities, given their low socio-economic status in Pakistani society, have special needs even in terms of their enumeration. However, it seems that their pleas fall on deaf ears.
Minorities, they live in segregated settlements where they are missed out. There are chances of them being missed out, especially the case of bricklayer workers, for instance.
Most critics believe that the manner in which the religious minorities are dealt with by the Pakistani state is akin to using them merely as collateral in front of the international community.
If they at some point want to convey to the international world that minorities are really looked after, especially let's say Christian minorities are really looked after, they will project certain categories in the census in order to prove their point.
Pakistan is one of the few countries of the world with an exceptionally high population growth rate. The government of Pakistan has estimated the average annual growth rate at 2.69% according to the census data accumulated between 1981 and 1998. Compare this to countries like India with a growth rate of 1.58% and China with a growth rate of only 0.69%, and it becomes clear that unchecked population growth is one of the major problems faced by the country. However, in recent years, this percentage has fallen due to increasing infertility and state intervention. The new growth rate hovers around the 2% mark, but it is still too high. Let's analyze health, one of the important socio-economic indicators to ascertain the scale of the problem. Today in Pakistan, there are 57 hospitals for every 10 million people, with around 86 doctors for every 100,000 patients. Pakistan boasts 38 registered nurses for every 100,000 people, with each bed in every hospital of the country open for 1,613 patients. How many hospitals do you think there are in Pakistan for every 10 million people?
500 plus, I think, 500 plus.
There are 57.
57? You are sure?
Really?
Nahi yaar.
Huh? Waqai?
Once again. How much did you say?
Yes, really. In a country with problems like these, this new census forms the basis of new development. It becomes the vehicle of a greater purpose. Each enumerator becomes a savior, and like they say, with great power comes great responsibility.
Learning from past experience, where the inadequacies were, where the underreporting was, and how to overcome that. If it means the mobilization of a greater number of census takers, then I think that is a critical factor in making sure that there is a reasonable counting of citizens because without that accurate data and adequate data, and particularly, as I said, for rural areas and remote areas and scattered communities, I think planning will always be inadequate.
The census is not just an opportunity for good policy structuring for the future, but also an opportunity to correct past mistakes. It is an opportunity to provide justice to the marginalized, those who toil day and night in their homes to provide support for their families, the silent partners in the economics of society. To those who have lost house and home, sacrificed property and lives for the greater good, those who spend the sweltering days in makeshift camps and tattered tents with the most meager of supplies allocated to them. It is an opportunity to make right the age-old injustices to those we do not understand, or maybe because we are afraid to. It is an opportunity to earn back the white and green. But you know what they say about opportunity? It only really knocks once. The question is, are we going to open the door this time around?